10 things a man should never do. It is not surprising that out of a population of 1 billion males, there are only a few guys that can truly be considered Prince Charming. It doesn't matter if you're a guy or a woman. We're all human beings at the end of the day. And as such, we all have our share of faults and blunders, in addition to our other, more admirable qualities. In particular, when it comes to relationships, there is no such thing as the ideal guy. You are required to agree to everything that comes with the total deal. Having said that, it goes without saying that there are certain behaviors and boundaries that a guy should never, ever cross. A man should never do any of these 10 things according to this list. Number 10. A real man never watch porn. Why do males watch adult entertainment? It seems to be a question with a relatively simple structure, and the solution must be pretty obvious, right? Men watch porn because they enjoy having sexual encounters, and they find it arousing to see attractive women engaging in sexual activity. It makes perfect sense, don't you think? But the solution isn't quite as straightforward as that. Even while the vast majority of people instantly believe that guys watch porn because they like, seek, or are obsessed with sex, these are merely the reasons that they are driven to porn. If a woman has a partner who watches a ton of porn that constantly drives home the message that there are plenty of women out there ready to have sex at the drop of a hat anytime, any place, it sets a high bar for the ordinary housewife, mother, or busy working woman who consistently feels inadequate because she's not eager for sex after a long day of working, cleaning, or caring for demanding children. Because it simply makes them feel horrible about themselves. A lot of women are closed off to the concept of porn because they don't want to be exposed to it. Number 9. A man should never masturbate. According to scripture, if you have a strong sexual urge that you struggle to control, this is an indication that you are called to pursue marriage rather than willfully pursuing a life of singleness, rather than consciously pursuing a life of singleness. However, a man's desire to have sexual relations is not the primary reason he should want marriage. This is such an idiotic idea. If you choose not to masturbate, it won't be the end of your life. So take it easy. Get a handle on yourself and quit using lame excuses to rationalize the sexual misconduct you've committed. If you are truly concerned about your physical health as a result of a lack of sexual release, then you should focus more of your time on pursuing a lady in a godly way so that you can get married rather than sitting by yourself and masturbating. 1 Corinthians 7:1-9. In addition, God gave human beings the ability to expel toxins during the night, as this is when the body has the greatest need to do so. Nevertheless, during the past few years, it has been fascinating to witness the proliferation of non-religious scientific research demonstrating the advantages of abstaining from masturbation. Men with experience refer to this as a no-fap. However, Christian men have been expressing this viewpoint for quite some time. Christian males have learned through personal experience that masturbation is associated with feelings of guilt. Your mental health will suffer as a result of doing so. Number 8. Never pay for sex or visit brothels. The subject of whether or not doing sexual acts for financial gain can be considered morally acceptable is one on which rational persons can disagree. Purely theoretical disagreements on debatable topics like this one are typically less significant in the ethical structuring of relationships than specific debates about what to do. And the two of you have concluded that he will not engage in sexual activity with anybody outside of your relationship, regardless of whether or not he is paid for it. Nevertheless, a theoretical dispute may be amplified by conflicts that have practical repercussions, at least in the wider world, and not only in a specific relationship. In addition, the concept of what can be contested carries some weight. Even if their white supremacy beliefs were only theoretical, the vast majority of moral individuals would not want to be married to someone who was committed to the ideology of white supremacy, for example, because he is aware that it does not seem good in a relationship. A real man will never pay for sexual services. Number 7. A real man never cheat on her. The most serious transgression that can be committed by a woman. You should never be unfaithful to the woman you love. You could run through every conceivable justification in the book, but none of them could ever excuse such a heinous conduct. Take the necessary precautions to ensure your safety before getting involved with another person. If you are unsure of the reasons for your activities, or if you are thinking about doing this, then you need to immediately stop what you are doing and be honest with your partner about it. It is invariably preferable to be truthful with her rather than to talk about her behind her back. If you find someone else and don't tell her about it, it will hurt her considerably more than it does now, even if it will harm her at first. Number 6. A real man never lie to her in front of her. Never tell a lie about something so insignificant, because if you can do so, it will be much simpler for you to lie about something much more significant. Why even start out telling lies in the first place? There is no room for lying in a relationship because it is built on trust and honesty. It's natural to stumble when you first start, but if you keep making the same errors and apologizing for the same things again and over, that's a different story. You may be fibbing to yourself rather than to your partner this time. Consider the reasons that brought you into this relationship in the first place and give them some thought. Number 5. A real man never prioritize girls over career. Fear causes many of us to get fixated on love, aversion to being alone oneself, the concern of losing out on something desirable, the dread of experiencing a lack of value. We are quite eager to secure ourselves in a lifeboat as soon as possible. Instead of building a life that is plentiful to make ourselves happy, we squander our time on relationships that are merely average and devoid of significance. The first error that many men make when they enter into their first serious relationship is that they tend to excessively concentrate every aspect of their lives and every ounce of their attention on the woman, frequently at the expense of their relationships with their other friends and family members. The major problem that men have, which they are not aware of, is the fact that a woman can never love a man in the same manner that a man can love a man. Please explain what I mean by this. It's not complicated. Women adore a man based on who he is and who he will become as he works to better himself. In this way, women see men as successful objects, whereas men see women as sex objects. Number 4. True gentlemen don't complain. People who complain about their lives, their circumstances, or just about anything, in general, give off the impression that they are helpless little children who feel the need to rely on the strength of more stable people in society and their immediate neighborhood. I am not sure whether this is how you feel, but it seems that way to me. Complaining is a sign of having a victim attitude, which leads to more problems. There is nothing wrong with being aware of the challenges presented by a circumstance. However, the same microsecond you decide to give in and whine about the fight you are facing, you have made the conscious decision to feel that you are a victim rather than a conqueror. Let's give ourselves a little more time to reflect on our ideas before we start spewing our immature emotions all over people who are in the room with us. Number 3. Real men don't cut other people off in the middle of a conversation. If men think that women have less to contribute to the conversation, then interrupting women is just part of their standard operating procedure, SOP. When viewed in this way, these males do not listen when a woman, any woman, starts talking from the moment they start talking. They are consumed by what they see to be their own much more valuable thoughts and ideas, and they are incredibly anxious to express themselves. Some men's conviction that they have, and are entitled to have, certain advantages in life is driven by a deeply ingrained mindset that is the product of male privilege. The liberty to take advantage of women. The liberty to treat women with a contemptuous attitude. The freedom to disregard standards of common courtesy toward women. And most importantly, the right to cut a woman off while she is speaking, particularly in a public situation. Number 2. A real man never be too nice. The world can be a gloomy place where it is difficult to find instances of brightness and kindness. Yet despite this, there are a lot of good people in the world who are striving to dispel the gloom by letting their own kind light shine. Any individual who has this as a goal and a trait should be commended. Unfortunately, the amount of misery, negativity, and selfishness in the world is shockingly high. People are notorious for looking out for themselves rather than the welfare of their fellow man. If you are a kind and decent person who does not protect yourself with strong limits, you are going to find that you are in a worse position. Number 1. Do not ever tell anybody everything you are thinking or feeling. We are all creatures that live in groups. Developing relationships with other people and talking about our experiences in life comes so naturally to the majority of us that we hardly give it a second thought. We take great pleasure in the fact that we have other people in our lives with whom we can discuss anything we want. Look for solutions to shared issues, count on support from others, and so on. However, there are occasions when this innate tendency of ours needs to be reined in a little bit. To start, not everyone will have your best interests at heart when they interact with you. And second, some matters are personal, and it is best if you can keep them that way. Never tell everyone how you feel. Keep some things to yourself at all times. It will fortify your mind and make you more resilient. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.